Hey guys, what's up? Nate here from Protoculture and Shadow Chronicles, and welcome back to another how to use video right here at Sonic Academy. Today we are checking out a brand new instrument from UVI. This is called Drone. Let's jump in and check this out. Right guys, here we go. This is UVI Drone. If this is the first time you're using a UVI instrument, you will need the UVI workstation in order to load this up. You load up your instruments in here. It's pretty simple, and this is a free download. You can also use this in Falcon as well. Let's do a quick overview of the UI and then build some drone sounds. So we've got a couple of different pages aside from or next to the preset management here. So you've got a ton of presets that you can choose from. We've got a main page. So this is essentially just kind of like a performance page. You can do a little bit of editing from here, like selecting different sources, etc. And turning on these modules at the bottom. However, most of the editing you're going to do is going to be in the edit page, which is what we're going to check out now. You also have an effects page, a modulation page, and some settings right at the end. Let's jump into the edit first. So we've got two sample players, essentially, or sample oscillators, if you want to call them that, with a ton of samples that you can load up as sources into each of these areas here. So let's just take a look. We've got this auto harp currently. Let's take something completely different. You've got 4 different categories here. You've got acoustic, digital, organic, and synthetic. And there's a ton of different sources in each of these categories here. Yeah, I mean, there's loads that you can go through. So let's take this acoustic and we're going to grab a feedback loop guitar. Let's take a listen to some of these. I quite like that. We'll hold on to that one for now. You can adjust the pitch for these samples. You have some volume control here, and then you have a attack and release for the envelopes, and a velocity sensitivity dial or switch that you can turn on here. We'll add up a different source in on the right hand side here. Let's take a synthetic source, for example. We'll grab something brassy. Let's go with double brass. And then you'll notice we have this XY pad in the middle here. This is basically the mixer. The Y values will mix the FX mix, which we're going to come to shortly. And then the source blend will be the horizontal axis or the X axis. So what this will do is it'll let you blend between source 1 and source 2. And we can do this in 3 different blend modes as well. We have the standard crossfade, which we have here, the volume control. We can also switch this to an LP HP filter, which means this one will get the low pass, this one will get a high pass, and they will crossfade between each other. We'll see that one there fading out with the low pass, this one fading in with the high pass, and then the opposite. Great, so we just got 2 samples blending between each other now. Let's start dialing in a few more settings. We'll leave that on filter. Let's come to this side. I want to show you the IR cam grain mode for this source here. When we turn this on, you'll actually enable a grain oscillator. So we can change these settings for this and you'll hear the grains kicking in. And the IR cam grain, this is basically the same oscillator that you get in Falcon as well. It's incredibly good as far as grain sources go. So let's dial this one in. Get the position settings, the size, and we're going to take that all the way up. Get it quite nice and smooth. Got some variation and some density going on. And let's pitch this down. The plus and the minus will do full octaves for you. we should be able to hold down Control will let you do fine adjustments if you can't get it quite right. So we're going to get exactly 12. There we go. Okay, so let's set up some automated blending now. In the source blend area, the FX, or this XY pad, just below we can turn on the LFO. Now the cool thing with these LFOs is that the LFO speed, you'll notice we start dropping this down. We hit 0.01 hertz here, which is already pretty slow. We can actually go down from that into millihertz or microhertz. I'm not 100% sure what that stands for, but it's slow. Let's just check that out, and we'll turn up the depth, and you'll see let's give it some more juice. Cool, so we're currently just getting the source blending as well, because we still haven't dialed in any of the effects yet. We're going to come to that shortly. Let's just quickly check out the Chaos LFO as well. This one, you have a depth control and then a speed as well. But it's chaotic, so you'll still get little boosts of speed every now and then, which is really nice. It's kind of very organic sounding, the way that this moves. You can see. It'll be kind of less circular as well. It's not as uniform as the oscillator, as the LFOs. So now we're going to come to my favorite parts of drone. Firstly, we have the swarm setting down at the bottom here. And this is essentially a unison mode. We can dial up the number of voices for the unison. This will enable the unison and turn up the effect. And then we also have a pitch setting. The pitch is pretty useful for creating rises and stuff out of the sample content that we have here. You'll check that out. We can also adjust that down to have a sort of more common unison effect. And you get that sort of effect of a swarm happening there. Now we get to my favorite part, which is the feedback loop, and this is just absolute gold. I'm going to just set up some MIDI controls for this so we can play around with this in real time. To do that, it's really simple. You just right-click, and if you want to automate this in Cubase as well, any UVI instrument that runs in UVI Workstation, because they have quite different control setups, you need to enable the host automation yourself. You just right click and click any slot here. We'll add this to Cubase's automation. Or if you just move a MIDI controller, right click on anything, move a CC value, and you can assign your controller to it. So it's super quick to dial that in. Let's just take a listen to the feedback. I'm just going to play a note and sustain that. Okay, let's bring in some feedback. Awesome. I love that. You just get such amazing tones out of that. So you've got a frequency shifter in this loop as well as a drive, and you can control the amount of feedback like that. It's just great for tweaking, and you get some of these really cool twisted metallic sounds coming out of that. Let's move on quickly to the effects section as well. So the way that this works, this is the key group effects. This is basically what is going to the source blend or the XY pad. So we can adjust these effects here, and then the LFO will affect how they are being brought into the signal. We've got 3 different effects. We've got a distortion algorithm here. We can change the positioning of these by moving them around with the little arrow keys. Let's just maybe just turn off this for a second so we can just kind of hear what's going on here. Let's take a listen and just bring our source FX mix all the way up. So you got drive for the distortion. A couple of different algorithms. And you'll see once you have that dialed in, if you jump back into the XY pad, you can bring down the effects mix now with the automation. And now if you've got circular motion, you can blend between everything. We've also got this harmonics editor here as well. These ones you can dial in different settings for each of the harmonics. And then adjust these with LFOs as well. You can set these speeds for each of them there. And let's take a listen to those. This FX mod dial for the filters will adjust either negative or positive modulation. So according to where the FX mix thing is, it'll adjust the filter. So you'll see if we use the FX mix now and bring that down, it'll take the filter out. Lastly, you've got a bus effects section down the bottom here. You've got a tape delay, the equalizer, which also has filters in it. You can take out some of the low rumble if you want here. And you then have a spark verb as well. So spark verb is the incredible reverb from UVI as well. You can get this as a separate plugin, and it's also inside of Falcon. It's fantastic for sort of really long, lush reverbs for effect stuff. Let's just take a listen to this quickly if we turn up the effects mix. Well, actually, this is not going to be affected by the effects mix. This is the bus one. Let's just take a listen quickly. That's spark verb for you. And lastly, there is a mod section here, which we're going to quickly check out. This is just kind of the classic gate effect that you're going to find in a lot of sort of like trailer music for movies, etc. these days. You can turn on different sources for each of these blends. We can also target the mod wheel to, for instance, feedback. We can assign to that. We'll assign to the gate in this case. Let's just grab like a 30-second note pattern. And using the mod wheel, we can bring in the gating. There's some presets here as well. You can do kind of like pulses. So there's a fair amount you can do with that gate as well. Lastly, We've got a few settings here for MPE control, the program settings as well. This is just the velocity curves, etc. Velocity mapping you can assign to harmonics, distortion, and so forth. So different velocities will give you different effects. And lastly, there's a stereo width control here. And then independent gain for the left and right channels. So that pretty much covers all the controls for drone. It's a super fun instrument to play, especially if you're doing sort of work in film or any sort of sound design stuff. You're looking for big sort of scapes. I particularly like this for doing sort of psytrance intros and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a really cool and very fun tool, especially that feedback loop. I really love the sound that you get. Just to finish off, we'll take a listen to one or two of the presets as well, just to kind of see the different sounds that you're going to get out of this. Let's check these out. Right, that is UVI Drone. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will catch you soon right here at Sonic Academy. Cheers.
Thanks everybody for watching, commenting and indeed liking. We really do appreciate all the support we get here on our Sonic Academy YouTube channel. So if you found this video super useful, please, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button. We update the YouTube channel every week with new content. And if you want to watch some more relevant content, just click on the videos beside me.